Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I want to welcome each and every one of you to another session of the Mindful Session. My name is Unisa Kamara, and I'm the host of the show. And today, I have the privilege of having someone very special to me on the show today. Um, they came on this show, ladies and gentlemen, to ask me a specific question. And after that, the show will be turned over to her because I want her to tell us or explain to us what the mindful session is to her. My special guest, Parky. Hello.
Hello, Unisa. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us.
So you're my co-host today, or are you the host today?
Well, I think I'm the host today.
Indeed you are. Indeed you are. I'm just passing by. So, Barky, thank you so much for being on the show. I watch you on LinkedIn, I watch how you grow, and I support what you do. You're very positive, you're very motivating person, you're very humane. And you standing for the rights, supporting women with all these human rights issues that are going on, I'm quite impressed. So thank you for being here with us.
Thank you, Unisa. And I believe that both of us have similar vision, even though I'm for the women, but you are with the youth. So, and I believe that the youth becomes the adults that I am training. So it kind of work together.
I love how it entails, the bridge.
Exactly.
I think we can make a lot of difference in this lives, in these people's lives that we decide to, get involved with because there's so much going on in the world, and I'm just glad to be a part of it, and I'm happy to be alongside you.
Well, I'm the one who's honored to be beside you.
So thank you. So please, ask this question of yours.
Now, I've been following you too, okay? And I love your posts on Facebook, LinkedIn. You like to express yourself. But I have this question for you
Okay.
because this wasn't done a long time ago. This is something new. You've been doing about Youth Camara for a very long time, isn't it?
Mary, it's correct.
Yes. Now, you've gone from motivating and now to mindfulness.
Right.
What is the transitioning there?
Uh, Motivational speaking is something that I still do, but due to, the current situation, we're unable to do any seminars.
Mm.
So, and me doing a lot of podcasts is something I don't try to avoid. But because your friend Gary called me, I had to get involved. But I try to stay away from a lot of podcasts. I tend to do a lot of Zoom meetings and so forth. So, being a motivational speaker, you still motivate and supporting people.
Mm.
You understand? And Khmer youth is something that a lot of these youth don't have that motivation. So what Khmer youth does is motivate them from a psychological perspective. And being that what's going on in a lot of communities, a lot of people think the mindful session is here to help people. That's what it's created for. And a lot of people, as you and I spoke back in the office, a lot of people feel as though whatever they're going through, it's already done. They don't know that there are so many people don't want to accept that other people are suffering or struggling or going through what they're going through.
Yeah.
And then a lot of other people, because of the pride, don't want to talk to people about what they're going through. That's why I created a 800 number, toll-free number on unisacamara.com. You can call the number, talk to someone, you don't have to say your name or where you're calling from, or they'll be there to listen. So basically, the mindful session is based around phobias, depression, anxiety, every mental, psychological thing you can think about. It's entailed in the mindful session. So that's our way of giving back to the communities, because a lot of people can't afford to go to a seminar, and a lot of people can't afford to go see a psychologist, but I give discounts.
Thank you so much. And one more question. So you created the mindfulness show.
The mindful session, yes.
Mindful session show. And what you are doing, have you gotten that result, or is there more you want to do with this show?
You said one question.
Sorry.
She does this. So I think I need to reverse it on her and ask her a series of questions as well, ladies and gentlemen. Well, personally, I feel as though, just like you, your work is never done. The thing that gives you joy is seeing someone that you're supporting being able to smile. Not to give you a fake smile, but wanting to, you can see all the pain of them. The essence of what we do is to see someone who was here elevate to another level. So I think our job, what we do, is never going to finish. We wish the world to be at a peaceful place. That is what, not everyone, but anyone that come into such a field, that's what they're trying to do. That's what they try to deliver. You understand? So my job is never done. My goals are just going to keep excelling. That's why I am the way I am. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to be on the show too long, but let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, about Barkley. If you don't mind.
Go for it.
The reason why I enjoy Barkley's company is because of the resilience, the intelligence, the strength that she has. Barkley was involved in a relationship where she was abused, physically, mentally, emotionally, financially, in every aspect. All she wanted to do was love, raise her family, the children. Unfortunately, things did not work the way she expected. But growing up in Africa, in some parts of Africa, your partner, your husband is chosen for you without you even knowing who this individual is. So you have to learn to love them and take everything that comes with it, regardless what this husband or this individual does to you. You cannot go back to your family. They will tell you to go back. And she had to keep going back and keeping, going through this pain until finally she felt that I cannot take it no more, because she was seeing it now being rolled over to her daughter, and which indeed, as a mother, she refused to stand for. So me watching her do what she does, it's quite inspiring, because I have daughters, I have a mother, I have sisters. So having someone empower them, someone they can say, wow, if she can go through all that and still stand this strong and this firm and be able to support others, that is a Mother Teresa. So I applaud you for what you do, and I'm going to have to love you and let you be. Ladies and gentlemen, Barkley Camus.
Thank you, Nisa, and thank you, everybody. But this is this is the time that we have to understand why the mindfulness, why it's important to ourselves. Because as a person, I went through difficulties, I went through challenges. But all those challenges, I believe in myself that I didn't know at the time that I believed in myself. I didn't know at the time that I'm strong, or the way Unisa was telling you about me. I didn't see it because I used to think that my problems are just my problems. Nobody will understand what I'm going through or what is not working in my marriage or my family area. But the thing is, I had that belief that I want to be the best wife. I want to be the best woman. I want to be the best mother. But doing all of that, I have to ask myself, am I happy on all those roles that I'm in? And the answer was no, I wasn't happy. Was I getting or was I giving the love that I wanted and the love I deserve? No. And did I have the freedom to live my life? No, I didn't at the time. Because I didn't see myself living in my power or in my strength, because I didn't, someone who's living with me or someone who's supposed to love me and care for me and being there for me, telling me you're not a good mother, you'll never be successful, you're just not good enough. And so starting to believe in that, I had to look at myself and ask myself, every time I had an argument with my husband at the time, every time that what is happening in my life that wasn't going straight, I used to go to my kitchen. That was my favorite place. And I used to write down, why is this happening? Why am I feeling this way? Why am I not happy? And before I know it, because time keeps going, come on, the whole world keeps rolling, and that's the way it is. Nothing is going to wait for you. But then years went by and I started answering my questions without realizing, because my subconscious is actually working whilst I wasn't on the paper or writing or asking myself questions at the time. But when I'm away and I'm just like, oh my goodness, this person that I want to come and rescue me, or this person that I wanted and looking forward for this person to come and help me and rescue me, my hero, when no one was coming, no one was there for me. When the lights are out and nobody's there, I look deep inside of me and I ask the question, who is here, Barke? No one, just you. So I had to make the decision, and I had to forgive whatever was holding on myself and whatever was holding against other people. First of all, my family. My family, they threatened me to disown me because I wanted to leave my husband. I got so scared, I went back to my husband. 2 years later, I thought to myself, I'm so sorry, this is not working. But I actually built myself. I actually found me. When I found myself by actually standing up in front of a mirror and seeing me for the first time in my life, it felt weird. But I looked at myself, and in my mind's eye, I could see myself as the 16-year-old who had an arranged marriage and coming to London, UK. Skinny, beautiful, bubbly, amazing looking person. But when I looked at the outside, oh, it wasn't the same image. When I looked at this person, wasn't happy. She wasn't the same spirited person the way she was before. What has changed? Because growing up for me, I didn't grow up with my mom and dad. And that was one of my promise. If when I have a family, I'm going to be there for my family. I'm never going to give up my family. I'm always going to make sure that my family are intact. So when it came to a point that I was awake, I'm awake and I'm looking at myself, and I had to answer these questions to myself. And that question was that, Barke, you promised you're going to be, like the glue in this family. You promised you're going to do whatever it takes to keep up this family. But it wasn't working, let's be honest. And the thing about me I love is that I talk to myself, like I'm sitting next, like where Eunice was sitting, and I'm actually talking to my own thoughts. What is working, what is not working, being honest with myself. And I say to myself, Barke, even though I speak on a third person, Barke, you've done the work. You actually hold on tight. You actually became the glue. You did whatever it took for you to ensure your family, your children, and your husband, your family unit is intact. But the time went by that you knew it's not going to last because of what was happening. You knew it's not going to change. As a human being, as a woman, most of us women, and this is why I help women, because women, some of the women, there are others who are not like that, but most of the women are more caring to the limit. Sometimes they don't even have limits. I've met people, women who are, sometimes I ask, where is the limit? Because they give and give and give. And sometimes you ask yourself, when are you going to say no? When are you going to actually have or build that boundary and say enough? And there are women like myself who found that limit, because when he was doing the mental abuse to me, I thought to myself that I was strong enough. I thought to myself I can take it. I thought to myself that it's okay. I can handle it. And I'm all right. But then, when the tables are turned and he started doing to my daughter, that was my limit. I was like, no, I don't agree with that. Seeing my child, my daughter, because I got a daughter and a son, seeing my daughter at the age of 16, and she passed it to 19. One day she sat down and I said to her, wow, I am proud of myself. You are 19 and you're so innocent. When I looked at her when she was 16, and I remind myself at the age of 16, I didn't see myself like when I was looking at my daughter. Seeing her innocent, so girly, and it's just, I couldn't think of me at that age, and I was pregnant, being married to an older person, but having that youth taken, gone, it just felt like I wouldn't do that to my own daughter. And that, for me, was that I don't say that all arranged marriage are wrong. There's some arranged marriage that if you do it the right way, then it's fine. There are people I've met who are happy with the arranged marriage, who fell in love. Everything is beautiful and they're so excited. But for some, it didn't work out, and that's okay. Because for me, when I made the decision to walk away, even though at the beginning when I was told we're going to disown you, or are you drinking now, when my family, the men of my family asking me, what is wrong with you? Why you want to leave your husband? Why all this? And I was like, just want to be happy. That's all I want to do, is I want to be happy. But I didn't know what this happiness is. I didn't know what is it about. All I want is to feel the opposite of what I'm feeling right now. So I was so scared, and I went back to him 2 years later, thinking, hoping, oh, this man's going to change, or this man, our marriage is going to be okay. I used to even think of, I can sacrifice my happiness, my life, my everything, just to ensure that I live with this person because of my children. But at the same time, when he was doing things that actually was making me feeling so like, why? Because he was doing it hoping that I would not run away from him, that I won't leave him. But the action he was doing, it was making me to leave him. So that comes again, it's what is the intention of his mind? Was he really thinking about his intention? Now, if we come back to me, because I was asking myself questions. Why, Barky, are you doing what you're doing? What are you, or what do you want to actually achieve in this life? And what your action resulting, or what your action consequences, are they really making you happy? Are they really doing what you wanted to be doing? Asking myself over and over again about that, I started understanding, so I want to be happy. But happiness for me is to have calmness in my life, is to have peace in my life, is to have that feeling of excitement, that feeling of like when the sun comes out and it's beautiful and you just smile for no reason. And I started asking myself, what is that I want? Not what is that I don't want, but what is that I want? And I want to just smile. And I started this. And this is why the topic for today is why the mindfulness session. Why is it important? It's very important. When I was, let's say about 7 years ago, 8 years ago, I watched Tony Robbins on TV, I don't know, YouTube or something, but it was on the screen. And I was like, what's wrong with these people? How do they feel so high up? They excited, but I didn't understand it at the time, what was happening. Now, 2016, I went to Excel London, and it was the biggest Sussex Resources. It was all about self-development. And that's the first time I actually know, or I actually kind of like the bubble has been burst, and I can see the light. Because for me, I knew there was something inside of me that I'm supposed to be doing, but I didn't know what it was. My whole life I've been working in catering, I've been working customer service. I love it. I love meeting people, I love speaking, and I love to just be around people, make them feel good. But I used to never do that for myself. So in this event, oh my God, there was a queue so long, and they were all talking about Tony Robbins, Tony Robbins, Tony Robbins. I can't wait to see Tony Robbins. And I'm like, well, it's just a guy. What are you thinking about? Anyway, I'm going to the event and I'm sitting right near the back. So I couldn't see him at the beginning, but everyone got so excited. And I loved it. I loved the way it was making you feel, the music, the beats, and it's just everything that makes you feel shake inside with excitement. And I thought to myself, okay, it's okay for now. And then when I started seeing him the way he's doing and everything, and he did a meditation, and that, he got me. He did a meditation for the first time in my life. Put your hand on your heart, he says. Listen to the heartbeat. Listen to it. Say thank you to it. Feel it beating all over your body. Feel the strength that it gives you. My mind was like blown away. And I was just like, wow. That gave me peace that time, and it gave me something more. That day, I found out my purpose is speaking. My purpose is standing in front of millions of people, sharing what I went through, the pain that I went through, but the outcome of my pain. Now that is where all the excitement, all the greatness comes in. You see, my journey, when I found out about self-development, for me was like a language that I've lost inside of me, and I found it. It was beautiful language. It was beautiful, and I loved it. And I knew this is where I belong. The self-development. This is me. Going back deep down, for me, the way it's like, it's like comes in, and it's just everything around it and everything inside. And it's just like, oh my God, you can never end the goodness of it, how far you can develop yourself. But the most important thing here is everything that taught me from self-development, mindfulness, all of these things that taught me is that you cannot move on if you live in the past. You cannot move on if you're still living where the pain is. You have to make the decision to transitioning to a better you, a better version of yourself. It's a choice that comes in. It's a gift we're given for free to choose to stay or to choose to move. But it comes down to our open mind. Do you have an open mind? Do you really believe that you deserve happiness? Do you really feel, or are you determined to actually stand up? Not in front of me, not in front of 100 or thousands of people, but just stand up for yourself, within yourself. Can you do that? If the answer is yes, amazing, congratulations. If the answer is maybe, I think I can, but I don't know how, then this is why we have the mindful sessions. This is why we do motivational. This is why we're empowering people. This is why we have people like me, Eunice, people who believe in what they're doing because they've been there. They know where your pain was or your pain is. at the moment. But it all comes down to you. Do you want to make a difference? Do you want to change? Then let's do it together. You are never alone. Like Eunice said, you are never alone. Your problems, there's thousands of people are going through the same problem. All of these things that is happening, it's happening for a reason. But then I need you to actually think about this. Now, I teach the women, okay? And I say to them, there's two things in life we have to actually do for ourselves before we can get the results we want or the results we deserve to have in our life. I'm all about be your own hero, okay, guys? I love being your own hero because I had to be my own hero. No one else came for me. I had to do that myself. Now, having these two things. One is forgiveness. Why forgiveness, Barke? You would ask me. Forgiveness comes hand to hand with love. Now, growing up without my mom and dad, I didn't know why I was given to my grandmother. I didn't understand it. I didn't agree with it. But it happened. For me, as a coach, as a speaker, as a mentor, as an author, coach, when we're trained, we don't go so much deep into childhood. But I like to do that because even though if you go to counselors, they're more concentrated on that. But I do because I believe we learn so much when we were young, when we were children, that it actually creates who we are today. So if we relearn things because of the past, we can actually relearn it for where we are right now, so we can live a better life. Now, part of that relearning we have to do is that we have to take a step. Acknowledge the pain. Acknowledge what we went through. For me, at the time was when I was writing my book. Okay, my book is What Is Your Name? And when I was writing my book, I actually started crying when I was talking about my father, because his was very, I could remember the shadow, his, like when he would come and visit me, his shadow. I could remember the way he present himself, the strength that he had. So for me, I didn't know at the time that I was angry with my dad. Why did he do that to me? But then at the age of 12 and a half, nearly 13, my grandmother shipped me to my siblings because my dad died when I was 9. My grandmother shipped me. So I was in the boat and I went to Zanzibar, from Kenya to Zanzibar. And because I didn't live with my mom, with my siblings, and it was such a revelation, I would say. It was such a big thing for me. Now going to them again, the same feeling that I had about my dad and my mom leaving me to my grandma, now I had the same. I was like, what's happening? So I was angry with my grandma now. And when I saw her, because my dad died, so I didn't see him when I was an adult. But my grandmother I did see before I got married and left the country. But I couldn't pull myself to ask her. I couldn't accuse her. I looked at her and she just makes me feel loved. And I loved her for that. I love her for that. But then what happened was that for me, as an adult now, I'm writing my book and I'm actually understanding what is going on with my life. And I realize I'm still holding something from them. So if you read my book, you will actually see all these places that I've gone through. Now, for me, was that I cannot go to my present place of my present moment without have that closure, without having the letting go. And the only way for me to let go, I have to go back like when I was a child. And I had to express myself to my little me. By doing that, I wrote a letter to my younger self. And I actually said to myself, it's okay. You are loved. You are special. You are amazing. And you are going to have everything you want in your life. You are okay. To my grandma, I believe, even though I didn't see her for 20, is it 20? Was it nearly, 10, 20 years? But then somehow, one of the cousins got me, and she made me miss my grandma. So I got in contact with her. I went to see her. And when I went to see her and I explained about my life and and she was the first person I actually told about my marriage. And I actually asked her for forgiveness for the way that I let the pain took over me and the way I blamed her. I said to her, I'm sorry, forgive me. But I actually had to praise her for the way she looked after me. She did love me. She's still loving me. She looked after me. She was my mom and my dad. She was everything for me. But I was young then, but now as an adult, I can actually say that back to her. And for my dad, he died, but I did a prayer. And I did say the love to him. And my mom, as an adult, every time I go back home to Africa, my mom becomes my buddy, and we do things together. My way of saying thank you for having me. Saying all this for myself, acknowledging the pain where it was, and actually give that back, the love that I gave to them and share with them. Until now, I'm so close with my grandma. She calls me if I don't call her. What's going on? Are you okay? Everything is good. She watches my YouTube channel, so funny, and she sends me a photo. Look, I've seen you. And it's such an amazing thing. But when I took my mom and my grandma in the same room, I looked at them for the first time and I was like, wow, I actually have two moms, not just one, two. And I appreciate it. And I love them so much. Now coming back to London and actually share this, forgive, love. These two things are the most important thing for anyone's life. You cannot move forward if you're still holding back yesterday's problems. You cannot be in a life that is fully yours if you're still holding on to things. Let's look at the birds. The bird flies. It doesn't have baggage on top of their wings. It will pull them down, the weight of it. is the same as us. Stop holding on baggages or luggages or whatever you're holding on, if it's a mental, physical, emotional, whatever that baggage you're holding on. Isn't it time for you to just look at it, acknowledge it, appreciate it, and let it go? This is that time, your time, to actually do good for you, for the sake of yourself and for the sake of your happiness. We cannot be happy if we're still thinking, I don't want people to know that I made a mistake. I don't want to show my weaknesses. Oh, my dear. I used to have this thing. I love heroes. I don't know if I told you that. I love heroes. Superheroes are my favorite thing. I can watch over and over and over again. I never get tired of them. I love them. But what do they have that is their weakness? If you watch any movies, I love movies. If you watch any movies and they have superheroes, what is the one thing that will kind of destroy them or put them in a harm's way? It's human. They want to help others. They put themselves in danger to save other people. I used to do that by people pleasing. I used to do that for my family. I used to do that because I wanted to ensure everyone else is okay. But where was I? Nowhere to be seen. That individual, me, seeing myself as a hero, but was I really a hero? Recently, I've actually learned that not looking after yourself is selfishness. Think about this. If you go onto the plane, okay, and they telling you about the emergencies and all these things you need to know about safety and everything, and when they tell you about how to put the mask or the seat belts or anything to do with safety, what they say first? Who do you put the mask on first? Before anyone else? Yourself. Why is that? Why yourself first? What if I put on my child first? Because my child is very important to me. I need her to grow because she's just a baby. But then if we really ask ourselves, and they do actually explain it, because they say if any emergency and you don't do it for yourself but you do for another person and you knocked out, you cannot help anyone. So this is where self-love, self-appreciation, self-acceptance, self-belief, all of these things that surrounded mindfulness, all of this comes down to that. If you don't do that for yourself, who are you doing it for? You're doing it for people, but it's like you're doing it in an empty cup. You're doing it for you're not fulfilling about yourself. How can you be happy with yourself afterwards? If you read my book, I did the same. I was growing up and I was told it's selfish to help yourself and to look after yourself too much. So I did what I was told. I need to look after the people because then it will make me feel good. I'll be fulfilled. I will live in abundance, and I will feel it will be amazing. It's not true. If you're doing it for the sake of other people, but if you're doing it for the sake of yourself, for the better of yourself, not for selfishness, but for actually for your mind, for yourself, for your mindfulness, not to be mindless, there's a difference. So we have to be intentionally. What we're doing intentionally, I'm looking after myself because I want to help other people. Now, for me, relearning that, it took a while. And it took years. But I did it because I had my children as my motivators. So you need to ask yourself, what is your motivator? Or what motivates you? Or what will actually stand in front of you and say, you have to do this? If you don't do it, what are you losing? Because that's where the importance of life, my life in this lifetime, is here for a reason. If I stand, well, as I have a name, you've got a name, everyone else has a name. That means you've been put in this life for a reason, yes? That means you already, it's kind of like if you go to work, they give you numbers, school numbers, but we have names. So that name is yours, it's written down, your name. Until the day you die, your name becomes either on a stone or somewhere, but it will be remembered and still have that name, yes? So why are we not claiming ourselves and actually acknowledge that I am somebody? I am here in this life for big things. I'm not here to just stand around and looking around and like, oh, whatever comes will come, whatever doesn't come, it doesn't come. Why are we putting ourselves in a very low level? Why do we think, oh, no. If I look after this person, they will see my value. I used to think like that. And that means they will actually help me. But do that person actually see you? Do that person actually acknowledges you? Do that person really appreciates you? Because when they don't, you have to stand back and ask yourself, if that person doesn't see me from who I am, I don't need to see it, or I don't need to see myself as in their eyes. I can see myself in my eyes. And in my eyes, I am somebody. In my eyes, I am valued. In my eyes, I'm worth it. And I deserve some happiness. I deserve better. When you say that to yourself and you actually mean it, actually believe in it, and standing up tall and say, yes, I am. Yes, I'm here for a reason. I'm here in this world. Not for anybody else, but for my sake, for my soul. And now, having that belief system and actually starting to present that to the world, you doing it for yourself, but then the bigger thing comes along. Your purpose. Why are you here? What do you really want to do in this life? Because most of the time, if we look at the gurus and we look at all these people that made a difference to themselves, but actually they're helping other people. Why are they helping other people? Because it's not just about them. What they've learned, it doesn't finish where they are anymore. It actually goes to, it's about we. It's about all of us together. We have to work together. We have to do things to actually protect and do things that will empower, that will make or create a better future for ourselves. So you see, not just myself, ourselves. My belief or my understanding, my intention in this world is to actually empower women. I'm sorry guys, okay? I'm all about women because they are the pillars of the community. They are the mothers. And some of them, they need to hear it. Some of them needs to be loud enough for them to hear or for them to actually see who they are. They hide away. They are the ones who look after everybody else. So when I share my story and connect to those women who really needs it, I went back to Africa. I'm from East Africa, guys, okay? And I taught about self-development, just introduction about self-development to the women who just finished school, especially when they finished their degree, and talking to them, asking them, what do you want in life? Who do you want to become? And they stand tall and they share the passion. They share that knowledge, who they want to become. And they're so hungry. Yes, Les Brown. You're so hungry for that desire. They're so hungry for the outcome. You're so hungry that, oh my goodness, I want to learn anything you give me because I want that better life. And sharing this wisdom and sharing these empowering messages that I went through, how I overcome it, what worked for me, and for them to say, me too. People hearing that, oh my goodness, I went through that too. Oh wow, Barke, you're inspiring me. They say that. I got their videos to just actually give me feedback about my sessions, and a year later, 2019, coming back and I'm looking at their lives and I'm like, wow. Some of them didn't know, they had the vision. They want to become businesswomen. They wanted to become empowering. They wanted to help the youth. They wanted to do things for themselves. They wanted to create the better life. And in 1 year, they actually did it. In 1 year, they did more than I did for the last 5 years. And I was like, wow. And I applaud them. I really am. And I appreciate them to give me the time to actually inspire them. Those 2 days and a half that we spent, it was amazing. And I'm so grateful. And still today, I've actually been in contact with them. And they're doing an amazing job. And that's beautiful. It really is. My book, I published my book 2019, that was last year, and it was amazing. I was like, yay! This year, wanted to travel the world, wanted to see my students, wanted to see people. Pandemic happened. But it was for good reason. I believe it happened for blessings. And for those people who lost their family members, who lost their loved ones, my condolences. And for the people who are still sick, I wish you full recovery. I wish you the best of health. Look after yourself. And for the people who spent time with their family, it was needed. For the people who went through physical, mental abuse, this is I hope you're safe. I hope you get yourself help that you deserve, what you needed. I hope you take a step for yourself. And for everybody else out there, I got to do what I wanted. I actually, even though I didn't travel physically, but everything was online. It's still online. And I got to speak with a lot of people that I was like, wow, Barke, that's amazing. So I did have my dream come true. Everything that I wanted, I got it. And I'm still having it. My children are grown up. I had a divorce. It was amazing. Best decision of my life. I'm not saying you should divorce your husbands unless you want to and you want for the right reasons. But for me, it was the right reason. I had to grow for better. I had to become my own hero. I choose, and I'm still choosing, to live the life that I deserve, the moments of my life. And I'm happy with it. And I'm in peace. I am in happiness. And I have the freedom that I always wanted. And I'm blessed. I'm so grateful for everything in my life, and I'm grateful to God for having me and created me to be this better person that I am today. I have no regrets. Everything is beautiful and it's amazing, and I love that. And for everyone out there, mindfulness is something that every one of us needs to start doing it for themselves. Thank you so much.